So all forms of abuse are horrible, right? Absolutely, no doubt about it. But why is emotional incest one of the most difficult ones to overcome in your life and deal with as an adult? Let's talk about that. Covert incest that's not seen. That's what makes it so hard to deal with as an adult. Because from the outside, this child is being so loved and so taken care of, and a child can't point out to others that they're really in a lot of emotional pain by the way they're being raised, because quite often they are not believed. Because that's not what the world sees. What the world sees is either a mother or a father heaping on loads of special attention to this child, and there's no way for the child to prove to the world, to get the help they need, that they are in fact a victim of abuse. So like with physical abuse, a child or a teacher or somebody, an aunt or uncle, will see the scars, will see the bruising, and there's proof there. This is what's done to me. This is what's happening. And people will unite in a wonderful force of support for this child who's clearly being abused. I mean, there's the proof right there. Or with sexual abuse, there's signs, there's indications. A girl could become pregnant. A child can show where they've been touched. There's also perhaps bruising or indications physically to show that they're a victim of sexual abuse. Verbal abuse, it can be recorded. And so there again, there's proof. There's something to go to show the world, hey, this is what I'm going through. But with emotional incest, the child is being treated perhaps like the prince or princess, which they are indeed to the parent. It's the emotional smothering or taking over of a child for the parent's benefit. And how that looks to the outside world and even to the child at the time when they're young is that this is wonderful. I am special. I am so well loved. Look at this. And that's what the outside world sees too, not knowing all the harm and the foundational harm that's being caused at that time of the child's life that's going to follow them into adulthood. Now, if you're not familiar with an overview of emotional incest, you can click up on this link right now to watch this video that covers broadly what emotional incest is all about. Now, with emotional incest, it's all about the parent crossing boundaries and the child feeling like everything is enmeshed because everything is being emotionally enmeshed. With emotional incest, there is nothing to really see or point out or prove to others about what is being done. That's what makes it so difficult to deal with as one gets older, because to the outside world, to family, friends that we normally go to for support, they're probably not going to get it because what they're seeing shows that the parent is in fact being a good parent. But when a child is being taken over emotionally to benefit the parent's needs, then that child, of course, will be paying a price for it their whole life. But because it can't really be proven and there's no evidence to point out to your teacher, to your aunt or uncle, to people that care about you, the child lives in a state of shame and is more confused about how to get themselves out of this mess. They know something's wrong, they feel it in a variety of ways, but they don't know how to deal with it until they get older, usually, because there's nothing you can really show or tell to anybody else. This leads to more isolation and children just giving up because they don't know how to get themselves out of it. Oftentimes, if it's a two-parent family, the other parent has just abdicated all responsibility to the perpetrator, and the perpetrator just has their way because the other parent feels blocked out. They're not wanted. My wife or husband doesn't seem to need me. We're not in love anymore. So they see that they're taking over one of their children, and they usually just let that happen. So therefore, the child does not feel rescued. There's no one there to rescue them because there's nothing to really see. So what this does to a child as they get older is they doubt themselves. They don't understand what a healthy boundary is because they don't really understand what an unhealthy boundary is because everybody's telling them that it's okay. Enmeshment is okay, but of course it's not. And sometimes even in therapy, the therapist has to be very open to listening to the child's stories and their background history about their trauma, because on the surface, somebody may say, nothing was wrong here. I'm not hearing anything bad. I'm hearing you had a very caring parent who had your back and doted on you. And so the therapist even has to begin piecing the pieces together to realize that what appears to be love on the outside is actually traumatic emotional incest. Remember, there's a reason emotional incest is called covert incest versus overt incest. Covert is where it's hidden. Overt is when it's out there, again, with the proof, the evidence of what's happening to the child. That's overt. With emotional incest, it's hidden, which causes a greater degree of shame and confusion for the victim of emotional incest. So we want to draw attention to this because it is a form of child abuse. It's just more hidden and it's more difficult to see. But through videos like this and education, we can let people know that this does go on in families and the impact it has on the child who is a victim of this. Please leave me some comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about emotional incest. Please subscribe to my mental health YouTube channel if you like these kind of videos. And until next week, this is Brad Shore signing off from Ask a Shrink.